Hi, this is State Representative Alan Sylvia, and welcome to another edition of Voices from Beacon Hill. This is, of course, the month of June, and I'm joined by my colleagues. To my far left, State Representative Paul Schmidt.
Thank you, Alan.
And of course, the lovely and always beautiful State Representative Carol Fiola, who is right here. We had her positioned in the middle because look how perfect that looks. And
this is what I put up with.
and it works out perfectly.
Thank you, Alan.
And, May, of course, was a great month. We made it through the budget, and of course, the Senate is dealing with the budget right now. And as we speak, I'm sure it's going to be in conference committee. There are many things that didn't make it from the House budget through the Senate, and they'll be conferring, and hopefully we'll be fighting and getting some of those things back in. And it's going to be a struggle.
And that, of course, is why Senator Rodrick is not with us, as he usually is. He is up in Boston battling to keep all the things for Fall River that we were able to get, battling to keep them in the budget.
And actually, you're right, Representative Schmidt and Sylvia, he's also working to perhaps add a few things in that couldn't get in initially. And as Representative Sylvia said, for those of you watching, this conference committee happens next. And what that means is anytime the House puts forth its budget, which we did, and now the Senate puts forth a budget that is in any way, shape, or form a little different than ours, a few members of the Senate and a few members of the House comprise of this joint committee, and they hammer it out. And they battle. I don't think they fight. I thought, well, maybe a little bit verbally, but they battle it out, and then what they come out with has to be agreed upon, and they vote on it, and then they bring it back to both of us for a final vote before it goes to the governor.
And we lobby, of course. We send in letters, and we've already all spoke to Speaker Pro Tem Haddad, and we'll have conversations with Speaker DeLeo about those items that we think should be in. That are important, and maybe some items that the Senate has put in that we don't think are so important. A perfect example, the Senate decided not to give the extra dollars to pre-K, early childhood education. We think that in the House, we felt that, and I know my colleagues agree, that pre-K education is extremely important, in not only in the Commonwealth, but especially for a city like Fall River, where pre-K education would be so important.
Well, that will be a big priority for us next year.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, it will. So let's talk about some of the things that have been going on, and it's been actually a busy day and a busy week. We record this on a Friday, and lots has been going on, and I know we wanted to touch upon what happened to us today, which was the dedication of a special building here for a special man. Why don't you talk a little bit more about it, Rep. Schmidt?
Well, it was a very heartwarming experience to be at the groundbreaking for the Dr. John Sprague Health and Science Building. And this is going to be a groundbreaker. It is a
46,000 square foot building right here on the Fall River campus for nursing and health technology and the dental hygiene program. And it's going to provide not only jobs right now for the construction of such a beautiful facility, which will be ready in 2016.
For the 50th anniversary.
For the 50th anniversary of Bristol Community College.
Yep.
Of course, the building was so aptly named in his honor, the John Sprague building. But let's talk a few minutes about what's so unique, even in the nation, about this building.
Zero emission.
That's right.
And the energy, it's completely green, as I understand it. Any energy that is used, it creates more energy than used.
Yeah.
So there's no expense in operating this building. Power that is used during the day, it creates more than the energy that is used for that building. It's amazing.
And that is particularly noteworthy in a laboratory-oriented building that is, by its nature, going to use a lot of electricity. So kudos to Bristol Community College.
That's right. And, you know, how this came about, you know, sometimes we talk to you about the things we're doing, including bills, bond bills. This was a bond bill that had been supported by the legislature, and then the governor took that money from the bond and authorized it to be spent right here in Fall River. So it's I believe about is it about $40 million or approximately? I don't have my notes in front of me, but it's about $40 million. And so when you're driving around town, come over to the campus and watch the construction, take a walk around the pond, and enjoy the future
What's
of
the
Bristol
timeline,
Community College.
of how long it's going to take to finish to complete
19
it?
months, 2016.
Yeah, that's not very long when you consider what this building is going to do and what it means to particularly the residents of Fall River and surrounding area.
And the renderings were beautiful.
Oh yes,
They were
the
beautiful.
sketches of it,
Yeah.
and it was wonderful. Jack and Joanne had their children and grandchildren there, but there was somebody who was missing.
Yeah, well, you know, you've all heard about it by now. Our dear friend in the business, you know, friend to all of us, certainly he was a personal friend of mine, Fernando Garcia. You all know what he did for this community. You saw his ads, you read his ads, you listened to them on the radio, you met him when you visited his dealership. He was a transforming force in the greater Fall River community, Fall River, New Bedford, the South Coast. Most recently, he was the head of the Board of Trustees here at Bristol Community College. And today, at the groundbreaking, they actually read the notes that he put together to present his remarks at the groundbreaking today. God bless you, Fernando. You were a legend in our community. We will never forget you.
Rest in peace.
A wonderful inspiration.
Absolutely. Also,
So-
on Memorial Day, of course, that's
Thank you.
We're experiencing
Thank you.
that right now. Of course, this is going to be aired in June, but quite the events coming up for us in the next few days, and rightly so, to honor our American fallen. You know, over 1,300,000 men have died. We have lost since 1776, 1,300,000, and we don't pay tribute enough to our fallen veterans. So many things are happening. People hear so much about what's going on with the Veterans Administration and the investigations, and we'll hear more about that as time goes on. But we need to give more attention to our veterans and to remember our fallen heroes.
I'd like to first, though, say my gratitude to my colleagues in government here. Representative Schmidt and Representative Sylvia both served, and they are veterans, and I just want to tip my hat to both of you. Thank you for your
what
service.
branch of service?
The Marine Corps,
Absolutely.
the
Thank you.
United States.
Semper
And what do we
Fi.
say? What do we say?
No,
Semper
Let's-
Fi.
But what do we shout out? Hoorah! Hoorah! I hear that a lot. So we do have a few laughs, but very serious. These fine gentlemen that I served with did serve, and I'm honored to work with them. And through this Memorial Weekend, there are probably approximately 7 or 8 events that we will attend to pay our small piece of tribute to the veterans. And it's always moving. Ray Haig does a phenomenal job of putting these events on. We will be with the Gold Star moms, grandparents, veterans themselves.
we had an opportunity to be with some of the Gold Star moms this morning, and that's always very moving to spend some time with them. And of course, that'll continue on for most of the weekend.
Yes, we were at Oak Grove this morning, standing in front of the memorial to those Fall River boys, I believe all boys, who gave their lives in the Civil War. And of course, we were also joined by the families of Robert Barrett, Scott Andrews, Charles Tavares, and Russell Smith,
Sure.
who all gave their lives more recently. Very sobering moment.
Absolutely.
It is, and so that's happening right now by the time we air. And there are a lot of other things happening in our community. Before we get on the air, we say, what are some of the key points we want to make? And
And it's so difficult too, and I should explain because we're doing this in May, and this is a June show, so it's so hard for us to project what's going on. We know that we'll be dealing with the finalized budget that the governor will sign eventually at the end of June. The beginning, it has to be signed by July, a balanced budget, and we'll be dealing with that sometime at the end of this month, June. But yet we're still we're doing this before that happens, so it's often not easy. Today, of course, we had a visit by the Secretary of Elder Affairs, and
Down at the Mitchell
Heights.
Apartments?
Ann Hotstein. She visited us at Mitchell Apartments, so to come down, because we don't often hear, the Secretary, of course, it's not that easy for the Secretary of Elder Affairs to make it to Fall River always, so not always having a visit here. Having a visit with the elderly is important because it makes up such a large, they make up such a large number of our population.
That's right.
And we have done more in the House this year in our budget for elderly than ever in history. So, you know, the work we do, and as you all know, I sit as a member on the Joint Committee of Elder Affairs.
Yes, thank you for that.
And,
Yes.
and we, our attitude, of course, is there's no care like home care. We want to keep people at home. We don't want to see people in nursing homes. So we can provide every health care service in the home. And-
Bristol
and-
Elders,
yeah,
just
Bristol Elders does.
we were able to fund
Nancy
them
Munson.
fully,
Absolutely.
right off the bat. We didn't even have to fight about that with anyone, and
No
everyone,
no argument
no
there.
argument, and we know because we visit with them how,
Absolutely.
what great services they provide.
Incredible. Meals on
All
Wheels,
of
those
that.
programs. And you know, those programs have improved over the years. I remember Meals on Wheels in the past. Years ago, you'd look at that and you say, God, I don't know how anybody could eat that. You look at those nutritious meals that are being delivered today and the work that's being done. We're really doing a much better job at caring for our elderly and providing services, in-home services for those people who are seniors. And we can provide every medical service that you can think of at home, other than surgery, but we want to keep people at home. First, we save money when we do that. It's quality care. People love being in their home.
Yeah.
It's the environment that they're most comfortable with, and this is the way of the future. So we're doing good things with that, and congratulations for all of you for passing that
To all of us.
legislation.
By the way, before we leave the subject of Memorial Day,
Yes.
makes me think of the what's going on at the Veterans Administration. And all three of us had a chance to stand on the front steps in front of the State House
Yes,
a
we
week
did.
ago. And what did we say?
And we signed a resolution which demanded
An
that our
investigation.
president, Obama, do a top-down investigation
And that's happening.
into the, yeah, and it is happening. You're reading about it. You've been reading about it right now. Into why these wait lists. Why are people dying while they're waiting for veteran services?
Fraudulent wait lists. You know, when we think of how much money we send to foreign countries to support foreign countries, many of them who hate us, and yet we do not care properly for our veterans who come back from war with injuries and who have long sustained disabilities, and we're not providing them. I say there are some people that should go to jail over this. There needs to be a proper investigation.
And they are, and they are, as a
hopefully
result
that'll be
of-
done. And this is not one hospital or one state. This is systemic.
they
It's
just
throughout the
uncovered
entire
another one,
country.
yep.
And we hear, and now I'm sure you're all hearing it. There are veterans now who are coming to us and saying, "Hey, this happened to me last year. I heard of a case of a veteran who had melanoma in his eye, and he went to VA in Brockton. They told him, look, there's nothing we can do for you."
However, please remind our viewers that Massachusetts, as we know,
Yes, absolutely.
truly, we started to say, is guess what number?
Number one.
Number one of all the states in the nation for providing benefits to veterans. So we get it here, and that's why I think we were so furious and stood on the steps.
We passed Valor 1, we passed Valor 2. Best veteran services in the country.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
no one can beat us in veteran services.
So we're very
Very proud
lucky
of that.
down here, and you know, you started talking about some of the things that we put into the budget. One of the things that was, not only did we vote on it last week, the governor just recently signed another very, you know, again, forthright, very important bill, and that's an early election bill, an early voting bill. And what we were able to do with that puts us not just ahead, but ahead in a lot of different areas. You are now not going to have to go and vote early only if you're away or you're sick. Every single voter can go and vote 2 weeks before, 11 business days before the elections on national and state elections, starting in 2015. So that's going to make it a lot easier for some of you who know you're going to be away, you don't know what the weather's going to be like, you just want to pop down to, well, it'll be up to the Liz right now in Fall River, for example.
Voter registration.
They'll decide how they want to handle it.
And also they can register online. And this is another thing. And you mentioned something that the federal government continues to try to pass these bills. We in Massachusetts do this before they do.
Well, we get things done.
We get it done. We do our health care. I don't know why they tampered with it. We had the best health care system than anywhere in the state. They try to emulate us.
Yeah.
They've screwed that up.
That horrible computer system.
But now 16 and 17-year-olds will be able to pre-register. Of course, they can't vote until you're 18, but they will be able to pre-register in anticipation of their 18th birthday to be able to vote. And you'll be able to register online. So we passed this vote, and it's been hailed by everyone. There's not one group. It was a unanimous vote.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't a partisan vote. Both the Republicans and the Democrats, we had a unanimous vote on the floor. It
Yeah.
was great to see that, by the way. And I think
So they'll
that's
see
another
that next
wonderful
year
thing.
sometime, next fall, a year from this fall. So we're trying to, I guess what's interesting is the variety of issues and items that we do address in the House of Representatives up at the State House.
Very positive thing.
And so that early voting is going to be helpful to parents who have young people and they're away at school and they don't get a chance. They get to do it online, or anyone gets to register online.
We have to do more. I saw some statistics the other day, and it's our elder population are the people who vote. People 60 years of age and older, they're the population that, I saw the numbers, between 18 and 50, only 22% are voting. Those are terrible numbers. And in Fall River, the numbers are worse.
Yeah.
We need to get people more involved. But our educational system is part of the fault, because when MCAS came in, we removed civics and basically American history out of the curriculum. So people have no idea about American government. They don't know the 3 branches of government. They don't know any of that. So
A lot of them
we
don't.
want children to grow up to be good model citizens, but yet they know nothing of government.
And I think on Memorial Day, as it is now, as we shoot this, thinking of the over 1 million Americans who gave their life for our way,
That's
and
right.
then find that only 20% of us actually take the time to vote, unacceptable.
It is,
And so
it is.
this bill makes it much easier to do your civic duty and get out there and vote.
So that was a very, very positive item that we moved on. Also, we're talking about a lot of programs. Again, there are good things and there are not so great things. We continue to have the conversation also about the drug and alcohol and mental health issues in the community, not only in our community, in every community. Matter of fact, yesterday, right here at Bristol Community College, had a chance to interview a little panel. Someone brought down an epidemiologist from the Department of Public Health to talk again more about this prescription monitoring program and what it is going to mean to people who are being overprescribed, and the training involved for providers like physicians and dentists who have been prescribing for years, and they don't always realize what the effects are when they're writing a class 2 prescription for a Vicodin or a Percocet.
We have to put the brakes on control.
That's right, and that's what this is about.
It's a gateway to addiction, isn't
Oh,
it?
absolutely.
Well, heroin is cheaper, so once they can't get the Percocets or the Vicodin and these other drugs, which are usually the gateway, the first way people get involved with drugs, then they get onto heroin. So they came down, Len Young came down to talk with us, a panel, to help us better understand what this would mean to us. And what we're reading today, the very next day, is that one of our treatment providers in our community, STAR, you've heard of STAR, they're dealing with things that you and I, and we haven't always wanted to talk about. The realities of what do you do with people when they need treatment. Well, they just were awarded
$400,000?
over $400,000 to help. For example, a lot of people commit minor crimes as a result of drug and alcohol or mental illness, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone. Some provide major crimes and they need the punishment and the right.
And they should be.
And they should be. But this
Victimless
is for
crimes. Often
victimless.
victimless
That's right. Who, as a result of their addictions, and this grant is going to allow the district attorney's office, and they've bought onto this, to send them right into treatment.
They'll be assessed. They'll
Yeah.
be assessed differently so that they can go into treatment instead of the
the
house
jail.
of correction, because incarceration costs much more money than treatment, and they're not being treated. Unfortunately, when they're in the house of correction, they're coming out and they're doing things. They're not any better for that.
They're doing it again. They're doing it again.
And we all know that we have a mental health problem. We do not have a handle on providing mental health services the way we should. But I'm so proud of how we've been able to look at the substance abuse issue, not only in our community, but how we've been able to fund it. And we're doing some great things with
Yes.
that, working with the Committee on Substance Abuse.
That's the one
Carol, for
thank you,
sitting on
yeah.
that committee.
You're very welcome.
And we're doing some good things. We visited as a delegation, we visited the primary care physicians. We're going to be visiting other physicians in the community. That worked out so great because we were able to explain that program in much more detail. We had the Department of Public Health come down to join us. So, and it's been a very positive response from them. And it was great to see that we're all, for the doctors to see how concerned we are with the issue. We have to reduce the prescription medications on the street. Obviously, people are writing prescriptions that shouldn't be writing prescriptions. There are too many out there, and it's so easy to become addicted to the issue.
Well, you know, and one of the things with this prescription monitoring program that we touched on yesterday, which is interesting, is now a doctor, a physician will be able to see that particular patient's, it's very protected, it's very secure, but they're able to see their history of getting these kind of class 2 substances so they can address it with their patients one-on-one. But what happens, this is the issue, what happens, and this is why physicians need training, when you do have a patient in front of you and they've been getting Percocets and Vicodins for pain, and they really don't have the same medical issue any longer, but they can't get off the painkiller. So that's why the part of this prescription monitoring program is training the physicians so they know to recommend that they go to a STAR or a pain management clinic. Because as you said, Rep. Sylvia and Rep. Schmidt, and as I see on the committee for substance abuse, we know how serious and horrible this addiction is. We're not going to solve it overnight. We don't pretend to think we can, but we work on it
We have done some
piece.
very good things. We have right now, we have pharmacists in our community that are working with us and working with physicians. And I have to say, it's because of this work that's been done. Thank you, Representative Fiola and Representative Schmidt, because together we've been able to do this. And now, by them working together, we're able to learn that there are some pharmacies that have recognized physicians who are writing too many prescriptions. This is coming to light. Law enforcement is involved. We're able now to get these people who are addicted to these prescription medications over to a STAR or over to treatment. So we're moving this ball, but it's because of this work that we've been able to do that extra step that's so important. I just want to say that it's a perfect time. Working with this delegation, and we say it a lot, but I say it from my heart because it's true. It's a great thing every day to wake up and work with two dedicated people who, from the moment...
Three.
Well, we're together in it because
Yeah.
from the moment we wake, at 6:30 this morning, I had already a text from Representative Fiola and Representative Schmidt. Right until 7:30 and 8 o'clock at night, usually, or later, we're doing this. And to have that kind of dedication and concern, I was at a meeting and Representative Fiola was there, and the speaker was there, and I said that we're working for minimum wage because we're working 14 hours a day.
Listen, we don't want you to feel bad for us,
No,
but we want you to get a sense that we're here for you. We're here for you.
It's important. And please call us.
Yeah.
If there's an issue, let us know. Obviously, we represent each separate districts, but we're in it together. And if you can reach us and you want to reach out to us, I know that they place our number up on the screen. Call our district office. so that we can, our legislative aides or us personally will respond to each and every call and email.
I know we all feel the same way, that it is an extraordinary opportunity to serve, and we are here for you. So never feel that it is an imposition
No.
to call us, grab us on the street. We're here for you. Before we break,
Yeah.
I know that our schools just received another significant funding. The Watson School received over $1 million. Did you get the details on that?
Yes, well, it's part of, again, working with this, Beacon Hill, trying to help communities that have been struggling. And, make no bones about it. We've talked in the past about our struggles changing from a textile to a manufacturing to the skills that we need today. And we always say this, when you grew up, some of you, your parents, yourselves, you didn't need a college education to provide a good living for your families.
Maybe you didn't even have to graduate from high school.
Right, some of them didn't, and we know that. But this is a different economy, it's a different world. And what we're finding is the jobs that are available out there, even in the manufacturing segment, require an education. So one of our strongest goals is to make sure that we are constantly reminding our young people to get a good education. So, and we're asking you to do the same thing. Make sure your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews are studying, because today, not only is a high school degree mandatory to move forward in some of these careers, but even a 2-year and 4-year
No
degree.
education, no job. It's as simple as that. And the Chamber of Commerce is doing a great job with this. And
Educating,
There are a number of
educating.
people, this Ed Up campaign, to let parents know how important this is, to become responsible, to understand the importance. You may not have had the opportunity to get a college education, but make it a goal, a promise to your child to make sure that they have that opportunity.
And so the Watson School was one that, you hear levels, level 4 school, and these funds were competitive, and the school district had to write a proposal, and then they were chosen, and only, I believe, nine schools were funded statewide, and they had to be struggling schools, and what it allowed them to do one of 4 things. And the Watson School is going to do a turnaround, a transformation, and which allows them to put a plan together, to the teachers working together, the faculty, the administration, to make sure that they do everything as creatively as they can, and to work on the underperforming schools.
And so to Superintendent Mayo Brown, and also to
The
Fall
staff at
River
Watson.
Teachers Union Head Rebecca Cusick.
Absolutely. Well done.
We wish them all the best with the Watson turnaround.
And hey, if anybody's out there from Watson School, we're always available to stop by and chat with them, because it's a level 4 school, and we talked about this a little bit. Some of the children, we're finding this out, and it's true. They've never been read a book to by the time they enter school. And some of us think how could that be? They've never been to the zoo.
That's
they don't
why
have those
pre-K,
experiences.
all of those experiences, all of those life experiences are so important. But when we say pre-K, imagine a child going to school and starting to read at age 4.
Terrible.
Some of us didn't have that opportunity, but we can do that. There are children who are reading on the 1st grade, 2nd grade level at age 4.
Well, Rep. Sylvia, I see that we have just a short amount of time left.
Doesn't it happen so quickly?
Well, we have a lot to talk about, and we could have gone on about 7 other topics today, but I guess the point is we're here for you.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to
Thank
serve.
you. Have a great summer. We'll see you in July.
Happy graduation, everyone
Yes,
out
lots of
there.
graduation.
Very important.